Imagine a world where every rustle in the bushes could mean life or death. A world where humans were just another species fighting for survival. This was the Stone Age, a brutal, unforgiving era. But something incredible was about to happen. A shift so profound it would change the course of human history forever. Predators became partners, wild beasts became friends, and the very definition of survival was rewritten. This is the story of how our ancestors tamed the wild, not just with spears and stones, but with something far more powerful: understanding. How did we go from being hunted to being herdsmen? From fearing the wolf to befriending it? Stay with me as we uncover one of the greatest leaps in human evolution: the domestication of animals. It all began with observation. Think of our ancestors crouched behind rocks, not just as hunters, but as students of nature. They spent countless hours, days, even generations, just watching. They learned the intricate dance of the wild. They saw which animals traveled in herds, which were solitary predators. They noticed the migration patterns of wild cattle, the grazing habits of goats and sheep on a mountainside, and the complex social structure of a wolf pack. They weren't just looking for their next meal. They were gathering data. They learned to distinguish between a threat and an opportunity. They saw that some animals, like the mighty aurochs, were incredibly dangerous, while others, perhaps the young, the old, or the more docile individuals within a herd, were more approachable. This patient, silent study was the critical first step. It was the moment humanity began to read the book of nature, not just react to it. They were learning the language of the wild, a language spoken not in words, but in patterns, behaviors, and instincts. From this deep observation came a bold idea: experimentation. This wasn't a sudden, grand plan. It was a slow, cautious process of trial and error. Imagine a small group of early humans, noticing a pack of wolves lingering near their camp, drawn by the smell of roasting meat. Instead of driving them away with fire and fury, someone makes a different choice. They toss a bone, a scrap of meat. It's a small gesture, but it's a massive leap of faith. Day after day, this repeats. The wolves, initially wary, learn that the strange two-legged creatures mean food, not harm. A fragile truce is formed. The most aggressive wolves are driven off, while the more curious, less fearful ones are tolerated, even encouraged. This wasn't just happening with wolves. Elsewhere, hunters might have guided a herd of wild goats into a narrow canyon, a natural enclosure, not for an immediate hunt, but to keep them close. They might have protected this captive herd from other predators, ensuring their own future food supply. It was a revolutionary concept. Don't just hunt for today, manage resources for tomorrow. These first tentative steps were the birth of animal husbandry. It was humanity reaching out, not with a spear, but with an open hand, trying to build the first fragile bridges between two different worlds. Of course, this process was littered with failures. Building trust with a wild animal is a delicate and dangerous dance. For every success story, there were countless setbacks that taught crucial lessons. Imagine trying to pen a herd of wild sheep. Some would panic, smashing against the crude fences and injuring themselves. Others would simply refuse to be contained, finding any weakness to escape back to the wild. An attempt to tame a young wild boar might end with a sudden, aggressive charge, reminding our ancestors of the untamable spirit within. And with wolves, the line between ally and threat was razor thin. A wolf that was friendly one moment could turn aggressive the next, especially around food or its young. Each failure, each bite, each escape was a painful but vital lesson in boundaries. Humans learned which species were simply too independent or too aggressive to be domesticated. They learned that you couldn't force a partnership. You had to understand the animal's nature, respect its instincts, and work with it, not against it. These failures were not defeats. They were the essential, harsh feedback that guided the entire process, refining the techniques and shaping the future relationship between humans and animals. Slowly but surely, through generations of patience and learning, mastery was achieved. The results were nothing short of world-changing. The wolf, once a rival predator, evolved into the loyal dog. It became a guardian of the camp, its keen senses warning of approaching danger. It became a partner in the hunt, helping track and corner prey, its speed and stamina complementing human intelligence. The relationship was symbiotic. The dog received food and shelter. The human received protection and an invaluable ally. Meanwhile, those once wild herds of goats, sheep, and cattle became reliable, walking line. No longer did survival depend on the luck of the hunt. Now, communities had a steady supply of milk, a source of protein that didn't fight back, and hides and wool for clothing and shelter. Animals became living tools. Oxen, descendants of the fearsome aurochs, were tamed to pull plows, turning human strength into agricultural power and allowing for the cultivation of land on a scale never before imagined. Life was no longer a constant, desperate scramble for the next meal. The companionship, the security, and the resources provided by these newly domesticated animals gave humanity something priceless: stability. So, what's the ultimate takeaway from this incredible Stone Age saga? It's a profound and timeless truth. Partnership with nature multiplies survival. Our ancestors realized they couldn't conquer the wild through brute force alone. Their greatest strength came from understanding it, from working with it, from transforming potential threats into powerful allies. They learned that nurturing could be more effective than hunting, that patience could yield greater rewards than aggression. This wasn't just about food and security. It was a fundamental shift in human consciousness. It was the moment we moved from being merely a part of the ecosystem to becoming its custodians. The domestication of animals laid the foundation for everything that followed: permanent settlements, agriculture, civilization itself. It proves that our ability to connect, to empathize, and to form partnerships is not just a social skill, it's our ultimate survival tool. The bond we share with the animals in our lives today is a living echo of that ancient pact. A reminder that when we choose cooperation over conflict, we unlock a potential far greater than our own. This incredible leap didn't just change how humans lived. It also changed how they thought. As animals became part of the family, they also walked into our imaginations. They became symbols, characters, and deities. Our next journey will explore how these animal companions inspired the very first stories, myths, and spiritual beliefs that shaped the human soul. We'll uncover the birth of myth and belief. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into our incredible past. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. We'll see you next time.